Howdy doody.
Oh, the dinner bells are ringing over there for
it's
somebody.
either a cowbell or a dinner bell or something.
What happened?
I don't know. We're listening to you ringing a bell.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Carrie.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna lay back. I just got a PS4, so I'm gonna lay back, play a little PS4.
Oh yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
Is this a new location, Carrie? That looks like a different background, or have I just never noticed the treadmill?
So you know how
Yeah, you should do a. You should.
over there. It's now a workout bench.
Oh man.
Oh man.
You gonna get swole for summer?
Yeah, and then I had this horrible rear projection TV. I upgraded to a 4K.
Yeah. There you go.
Now it's awesome.
Right on.
You should
now I
do
just need
one
a
of these
man
from the treadmill.
What's that?
You should do one of these from the treadmill.
I got $100 if you can last the entire Bourbon Roundtable on the treadmill at least slow jog pace.
We'll have you hooked up to EKG.
I mean, so you don't think I use this thing? Come on, that's my. I use it like once a month to keep it in shape.
Yeah.
Just to make sure the grease doesn't go out. Yeah. So how's the PS4?
It's awesome. I just started playing it today and setting it up. I tried some 4K video on Netflix. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
I don't have it. I don't have
ahead.
crazy, so I don't know if I'm going to stay with that. But you have to upgrade your Netflix to do ultra high def. That's the new phrase now. You know, it's no longer HD. It's now UHD.
Ultra.
Ultra high def is the new thing.
As long as you get the bandwidth support it. I got a new toy as well this past week. So my company, you know, I travel around and we're in the kind of tech space, and we had these virtual reality setups at all these conferences. And then after last year, they just been sitting in storage, and I was like, "Can I have one?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." So I've got this like whole other room right next to me that's just like nothing but a VR.
That's really cool.
It's just nothing but a VR space, and I've only played it like a few times, but I think it's more or less for fun when I got friends come over. So
that's cool.
So on that, are you playing actual games and stuff, or I feel like I'm so behind on all the VR stuff. Are there certain games you can play on there, or is it like a certain system that you can use?
So I've got the HTC Vive, and yeah, it's got a bunch of I got a bunch of games that are loaded on it. Just, you know, I got some like zombie shoot 'em up games. You got some like beginner stuff to kind of like just get used to VR, like being in the experience, because it totally is like a whole immersive thing. It's completely different than what you've ever been used to, like playing video games before. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
did you guys say you need the comment link?
Yes.
Oh yeah, how do I do that?
Let me throw it in the chat window here. If that works.
Is that always open on a new window that covers up our regular one? Or is there a way to have it on the sidebar or something?
No, because like it's like this is all like a kludgy like mix of a few different things. Jordan, we cannot hear you, man.
Hey, Jordan.
We see you, but we cannot hear you. Yeah, so it's like a kludgy mix of things. So, you know, when YouTube, or actually, you know, YouTube's owned by Google, so they had Hangouts, and they said, okay, well, we'll just combine these two platforms. But there's a lot of things that aren't necessarily like hooked into one another. So, you know, the live chat is part of YouTube. However, the group chat on here is part of Hangouts, but they don't like interconnect. And this is essentially just streaming directly to YouTube.
Okay. Actually, can I delete? Yeah. Okay. The comments didn't work for me for the longest time, and then all of a sudden, I think like 2 roundtables ago, it just started working. So I don't know why, but I can now comment.
Yep.
Jordan.
Jordan. Okay, he's officially on mute now, but
yeah.
I mean,
his mute or ours or yours?
No, he muted himself.
I thought it was the around the horn.
No, still can't hear you, man. I would check the settings in your Google Hangouts thing and just make sure it's like pointing towards the Yeti. That or drop off and come back on. All right. So once he comes back on, we'll kind of get cracking. Actually, I'm gonna grab a water real quick too before we do this.
That's probably a good call, actually.
Hey, we got people on the live chat already.
Anybody else watching College World Series tonight? Florida LSU?
We're not watching anymore here.
Yeah. Louisville looked pretty strong to get it started, but then
Then they didn't.
yeah, in true fashion, maybe they
Yeah, then they didn't. That's right. That's been their MO.
I'm watching a video that's 8 hours of rain in the rainforest in 4K.
Well, that's basically been our backyard for the last week. Just
This is amazing.
A little less than 4K. Yeah.
I can't even tell you. I feel like I'm being rained up in the tropical.
Oh man. Yeah, you're not that. I'm sure that Netflix subscription isn't going to last more than the month. Then.
I mean, look at those trees. God, it's like,
Hey Ryan.
Howdy.
Hey,
Ryan, how's it going?
Cheers.
See Jordan again, but I don't hear him.
God, you nubs. You need to get your technology in order. I swear. It's like you guys should be IT directors. Shit.
So it's Jim's first time watching, so we got to wow him tonight.
Okay, let's see. Where's that chat? Hello,
Don't
Jim.
mind.
What up, Jim?
Who's watching? Or
Jim.
Jim
Jim's
Mc-
watching.
Okay.
Jim
There he
McMurray.
is.
We're gonna start here as soon as Jordan gets his audio going. We're gonna get rolling here. Blake,
Dang,
you put this on
nice
the
backdrop, Kenny.
I gotta change it up a little bit. I gotta make it seem legit, right?
Seem like you're rich. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. My window looks lame.
I got a treadmill behind me. What does that say about me? That guy could use.
Got to get like just get a fishing line with like a bottle of bourbon dangling off of it. Just,
Let me just do this or something. Put a.
My wife came and moved a decoration behind me because somebody called it a Christmas tree last time. She was highly offended by the comment.
With that, you mean that Christmas wreath on your mirror?
Oh,
right
it's
there?
not Christmas, it's boxwood, and if you think it's Christmas, you're a moron. So
It's an accent wreath.
yeah. No, there's
That's a non-functional mirror too, then, because you can't see yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. No, it opens the room up because the
opens
door
the
is
room.
over here. So yeah.
I've heard that
Kenny.
phrase.
Can you see this?
There you go, Eric. I actually think you might be
nice.
one of the other people that I'm missing because there's two people that I had with size larges for Patreon, and I ran out of larges, so I just ordered 25 more. But it's actually this new I don't know, like stone anthracite color, whatever it is. It's not a long sleeve; it's just a regular short sleeve like the other ones. But it will come. It will come eventually.
Did you see these glasses Tiffany got me, Kenny? Burn Pursuit.
Oh, look at that!
Father's Day
Man
present.
alive!
Oh dang, those are nice.
I know.
Awful nice of her.
Yeah.
Was
When are
very
those
nice.
going out? Or up for sale?
They're about $40 a piece.
Yeah. Put it on
Plus
the
shipping.
Yep. All right, we got 50 people already on here, so we're already cranking up. We're still waiting for Jordan to come on. Once Jordan comes on, we're gonna get rolling here.
I feel bad, Kenny. Once again, I'm not wearing a Bourbon Pursuit t-shirt or polo.
It's about branding. It's about branding and merchandising, man. That's how we make our money.
Bourbon Pursuit hats.
I know. That's what we need for these webcams.
Yeah.
Is that just start giving those out, like some trucker hats or something? Is that what you all want?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hipster hats.
I feel bad because I didn't wear pants.
It's okay. We can play
Don't
that game.
do the treadmill.
Isn't there a video of like Shaq or Charles Barkley and one of those things where they walk away from the table and NBA on TNT, and he's wearing like basketball shorts with a suit top and everything because he's just behind the desk all night.
There's Jordan.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Hey, Blake, if you can move a little bit to your left, that wreath gives you an afro.
The crown. Let's see if I can.
There!
And a bow.
Oh man, I'm getting the evil eye right now. Y'all don't even know.
All right. So fellows, I want to say thanks again for joining tonight. We'll ready to kick it off.
Ready.
Do it.
Do it.
Welcome back to the episode of the Bourbon Pursuit Podcast, the official podcast of Bourbon. We have got the 9th edition of the Bourbon Community Roundtable. This is always a crowd favorite, and tonight we've got a good subject. I think that is sort of timely. Some of our guests thinks it's after its time, but you know what? We're gonna do it anyway because I think it's gonna be fun and it's gonna be. Honestly, I think it's something that, you know, as we start diving into it, it's going to make you start thinking twice about a lot of the stuff we always do buy. So with that, I want to go around the horn real quick and start off with Blake. Just kind of tell everybody who you are, where you blog, and your favorite kind of cheese.
Ooh, favorite kind of cheese. Threw a curveball at us. I'm Blake from Bourboner.com. You can find me on, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Bourboner, Bourbonr. Favorite kind of cheese? We're gonna go with sharp cheddar tonight. That sounds like a good choice.
Very American.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, this is Brian with Sippin' Corn, SIPP''N Corn. Mostly find me on Twitter at Sippin' Corn. Then I've got the Google blog, so it's Sippin' Corn at Blogspot, and definitely smoked Gouda.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Ooh, nice choice.
It pairs well with bourbon.
Jordan.
Sure. This is Jordan from Breaking Bourbon. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon at Breaking Bourbon. And make sure to sign up for our email newsletter and look at our daily calendar update.
Awesome. And then if we can get Carrie away from his PS4 for a second, we might be able to chime in. What's going on, Carrie?
What's up, guys? This is Carrie from Suburbia, SUBOURBIA. You can find me on Twitter and Facebooks and the Instagrams. And my favorite kind of cheese is the ones that are constantly posted in the Bourbon Art Facebook group.
That was a setup.
Well done.
That was a setup.
Yeah, we've been playing that one all night.
Talking. Yeah.
I actually forgot to do it. You know, it's this is the first time Ryan's been back in a little bit. So Ryan, welcome back to the show again.
Yeah, took a few week hiatus. Been on vacation, so I'm glad to be back. Excited for this roundtable. It's a lot of fun.
Good. How was vacation?
My favorite cheese is Aruba was awesome. Got some awesome rums. Gambled a lot, lost a lot, but had a great time.
Typically how it goes.
But
despite that,
rum hunting is much easier in Aruba than bourbon hunting is here.
So you didn't say your favorite kind of cheese as well before we get kicked off here.
Velveeta.
Velveeta.
You can't beat that.
Man.
Cheese product.
I guess I'm just gonna go with pepper jack because like it's just good on everything for me. I don't know. So we want to kind of get this started, and we have one topic for tonight, and this one topic is a very, very big one. This kind of happened just a few weeks ago. So I've got my script here in front of me, and we're going to kind of go through this, and it's going to have a few different parts to it. So we're going to break this out into 3 different segments. So on June 14th, the bourbon internet broke, in my opinion. I remember going to bed. I looked at my phone. It was around probably about 11 p.m., and then I didn't put it down for almost an hour or two. It's just the comments just kept scrolling and scrolling. And as I said, this is kind of a long story here, so we're breaking down this into 3 parts. So here we go, part 1. How it started. Brandon Priest, a longtime seller on the secondary market, admitted to buying empty bottles on eBay, refilling them, resealing them, and selling them as new. I'll let the people who did the sleuthing remain anonymous here, and we'll just refer to them here going forward as A&A. Brandon provided elaborate excuses, claiming he had bought a number of what he thought were real bottles from a man in Chicago, who, of course, was now unfindable, in 2 deals that went down in Indianapolis back in the January timeframe. After letting him toil over for a few days, A&A had all their direct evidence ready. It was presented to Brandon. A&A had his eBay account, the empties he bought, the photos of the same exact bottles that were now full and new, owned by his unsuspecting customers. Brandon at first denied everything, but he eventually confessed. He intentionally defrauded people, and frankly, A&A had planned to tear him apart in public. Instead, A&A spent hours talking with him, trying to figure out what he should do from there. Brandon offered to make things right as best he can. He has already issued some refunds and says he will do so for anyone else who has received a fake. He asked that his family won't be harassed, his property damaged, his business destroyed, and whatever other retaliatory acts people may be contemplating. As it turns out, dozens of the empties he bought are actually still sitting at home on his bar. They're refilled, but they're still open, apparently just to show off to guests as his bar stock. A&A asked him to destroy those and provide proof. A&A asked to not have everybody panic over all the bottles that were out there. And, you know, if you bought a bottle from Brandon the past 6 months, it was either a wax or a plastic seal or a plain, just a tax stamp. It could possibly be fake. He did actually sell mostly real bottles. You okay there, Ryan?
No, I bought one. No, I'm kidding.
A&A had been working with him to verify the individual bottles he faked. Now, the one thing that everybody has to keep in mind here is that Brandon Priest had been selling bottles consistently. It's like almost every week for years. He had mules at liquor barn raffles, mules at Willet runs. He paid people to stand in lines. Rumors automatically began swirling that his sales were in the upwards of around like $100,000. Of course, and without question, everyone began to look at their bottles from previous purchases. In the span of almost 48 hours, people were looking at bottles such as their Four Roses small batch limited editions and noticed that the film seemed off, like it was almost done with a hairdryer. Others brought out tax stamp bottles, and there was even a rumor that he went as low as counterfeiting a lost profit orphan barrel. So before we get into parts 2 and 3, where he digs himself even deeper, the community just went up in arms and were asking for his head. I kind of want to push it out to you all and kind of figure out, like, what was your initial impression when you first saw this?
Wait, you mean to tell me that this has been bad because he refilled it with bad stuff?
Wasn't 30,000 bottles of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was busy.
Oh man, I think my first impression was, I'm surprised it took this long, quite honestly. Like, truly, I realized that majority of people in the bourbon community are really good individuals, right? And I think everyone really is in it just for the game and love of bourbon, and no one wants to screw people over. But I mean, it's just a reality of modern day life. I'm really surprised it took this long for someone to try and game the system. And it's a shame. It's truly a shame.
Well,
Yeah.
well, he's certainly not the first, though.
No, I guess, yeah, you're right.
He's just the first.
Right. The first get caught in a mass scale.
Right.
I mean,
when you buy something from a dude on it, I mean, it's buyer beware all the way around.
Yeah. And that's, I think it was just like one of the most shocking, unsurprising things, if that makes sense, when we're talking about thousands of dollars and a lot of these things, if we're being realistic, I guess this is all allegedly, but allegedly he didn't do a good job faking these things, but they wouldn't be that hard to fake if you really look at some of the wax stuff and that kind of thing. So when we're talking about thousands of dollars and you have new drinkers coming into the market all the time who aren't, as savvy as some of the other guys, it's not surprising, but it is a little shocking to see it actually go down. If you've ever watched the Netflix Sour Grapes,
Yeah.
it's like rewatching that on a much smaller scale. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's just, it is shocking.
I mean, I guess did anybody at one point think that, like, nah, it can't be true? Like, he's been around forever. He's most of his bottles that he sold, which, I mean, I can remember, even if it was at Willet, when he made these runs, he would buy them. I mean, this was back when they were $10 a year, so $120 bottle, and he would sell them for, like, I don't know, $180, $160. He was like the Walmart of bourbon, right? So it didn't seem like he was making a huge profit off it. It was more like he was doing off of volume. So I found it really odd that he was doing this. I almost kind of didn't believe it at first.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When you, on people who are consistently on secondary markets, like all of us who get bored at work and want something to do, you see sellers that always have expensive bottles. Always. I mean, they're You know, that every once in a while you can always predict they're going to have 6 or 7 in, or they're going to have some Old Turkey bottles. And I've always said to myself, how do these guys get these bottles? How is it that they keep getting all of this Pappy, all of this antique, all of these old bottles? You know, and at some point you think to yourself, like, is there a pipeline somewhere coming from another country? Is there somebody that's going to all these estate sales that we don't know about? Because I go to estate sales and I don't find anything but old little mannequins and stuff. Like, these people, you know, you start to wonder at some point, like, how do these guys consistently have this same really rare bourbon all the time? And I guess we found out how one guy did, right?
Yeah, I guess I was a little surprised. I mean, I watched Sour Grapes, and when I watched it, I was like, man, this is probably going on in the bourbon world, but bourbon prices aren't as expensive as like the wine. So it's like for you know, a few $100s or $1,000 to do this whole faking and buying ball. I was just like, man, that's just got to be a lot of work that I would not do, but I'm lazy. So I was just surprised.
I think I was more nervous about his initial statement, which was he bought them from a guy in Chicago. Just so happens that back in January, I bought a bunch of old dusty bottles from a guy in Chicago. So I'm thinking, oh, no, you've got to be kidding me. So maybe I was a little more relieved whenever it came out it was actually true. But
I don't know that I was all that I guess I'm not that engrossed in the secondary market to really, like, I knew his name, but I don't think I was
in those total wine points.
What's that?
You got all those total wine points that we
right.
can get.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like a modern day bourbon king where, like, I got all the beam and all that kind of stuff. But for the antique stuff, I just I don't know. I knew his name, but I didn't know how much he sold until everything went down.
I mean, we always knew he sold stuff because the odd thing is he doesn't drink, right? I guess maybe that should just be like a, I don't know, red flag, maybe. Like, yeah, he's not in it to drink. He's in it to make a profit. Like, that was his whole thing. That was his MO from the very beginning, right? So I guess that kind of goes back into part of why it went this far, right? You know, another thing that people are wondering, and Brian, this is more going to be directed to you because for anybody that doesn't know, Brian is an actual real life lawyer, like in real life when he's not talking about bourbon, right? So people were just wondering, like, from a legal standpoint, you know, are you able to take this to the authorities? Like, is this something that you can get for either grand theft or fraud or anything like that?
You can't take to the authorities and sue in a civil case. So you got two kinds of cases. You got civil and criminal. You're not going to be able to sue him in civil court because you can't enforce an illegal contract. And this is an illegal contract. It's, if you buy something that's fake, maybe it's fraud because you're not supposed to be selling. It's like, you know, if you're not in Colorado or some of those states, it's like suing your pot dealer for selling you oregano. You can't do it. Same thing with spirits. He could be looking at criminal liability though. Statute, the first sale is a Class B misdemeanor, then the second sale is a Class A misdemeanor, and then the third is a Class D felony for each sale. Ooh. So, you know, I know there's people who are pushing for criminal investigations, and they want everyone always says get the feds involved. You know, that's not.
No.
I mean, I guess the next question to even kind of think about that, and I'll direct it to some of the other guys. Like, is it even? Would it be
selling?
We're kind of we're jumping around there for a second. So I guess another question to kind of ask is, like, you know, I think it would probably be a bad thing to even alert authorities about this because you're basically just shining a flashlight right on what we all do every single day while we're bored at work, right? Looking at secondary markets.
Right.
It's not a lot of the market. You're not committing a crime by looking at the market.
Well, no, but you're highlighting it to a greater extent than what we are even right now, right?
By what? Bringing a criminal case about it?
Yeah, if you were to take it to authorities and be able to say, this is the guy that conned X amount of dollars and whatever, and then they have to know exactly where it happened, and you have to have some sort of paper trail to prove it. Like I said, you're shining a big flashlight on what we're all a part of.
I mean, it's illegal, right? Like buying bourbon not sold by a retailer in the United States is illegal. Am I right about that, Brian? Like, hey, I want to report somebody who scammed me during an illegal purchase. Like, are they really going to give a shit?
Exactly. You can't, you're not going to do, one, you're not going to do that. Two, you can't sue on it because it's first place.
Yeah.
So Catch-22 said, what about fraud as a collectible item, but not necessarily the bourbon itself? I mean,
That's fair.
Basically, you see that on Craigslist ads today, right? It says sold for, collectible only, not for the contents inside.
Hold on, y'all are drinking this stuff? I thought it was all collectible bottles we were talking about.
It is.
all these are sealed behind me, right? Yeah.
Artwork on the bottle.
It's like your wreath in the background. They're all accessories.
Yeah, I think Jordan, in your post from a year ago, had that good piece with.
You talking about the secondary market solution that we had?
Bottle Spot and their position on it being collectible, right?
Yeah, I think you're talking. Well, you broke up just a little bit there, Brian. I think you might be talking about
your post, and you.
Ooh, choppy.
Choppy.
We're losing Brian there. So go ahead, Jordan. What were you about to say?
I think I'm not sure if he's what post, if he's referring to our the write-up that we did on the bourbon secondary market solution, which touches upon just the whole nature of a solution, but also like the current market that we're dealing with. Maybe, I don't know, but I think just wrapping it back to the conversation, my personal opinion, I don't think when people are worried about reporting to the authorities, I think collectively everyone involved in the secondary market isn't so much afraid of getting in trouble. I think it's the fact that they're worried that their forum for selling bottles would get shut down, right? Because let's be real, this isn't going to stop anyone. People are going to keep doing it. They're just trying to figure out what's the easiest way for them to do it on, right? No matter what medium it is. So I think that's what everyone's really worried about. Not getting in trouble, just losing their quick source to flipping bottles.
I think there'll always be a source.
Yeah, for sure.
They can close one. There'll always be a source.
And so here's another thing with it, right? If you looked at his Facebook profile and you kind of, I was quote unquote friends with him on Facebook because I had actually bought bottles off him before. But here's the thing. I mean, it didn't look like he needed money, right? He's here from in Louisville. He has a great job. He's a real estate broker. He has pictures from him being at courtside games, multiple Super Bowls, drove a really nice car. Like, what gives? Like, what's the point? I mean, do you think it was just greed at this point?
I mean, I'd just say about that, and Jordan can probably jump in too. Sometimes the guys who pull up in the nicest cars, you get to their tax return and you say, maybe they should be driving that car. So I just from seeing the inside of people's finances, it's not always the guy with the flashy stuff who actually has the money. The saying goes, if you have to say it, it's probably not true. So if you're signaling to everyone how rich and luxurious your life is, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So I don't know. I feel like that's a slippery slope too. Maybe you have a few good years, then all of a sudden things are getting tight, so you sell some fake bottles, allegedly, and I think it's just you kind of get stuck in that cycle of, oh man, what am I going to do? Maybe Willet was getting harder to get, and camping out at all these places were getting harder to get, and it was just trying to find a quick and easy solution. So
yeah, Michael
for
Barnes,
sure. I think it's. Oh, go ahead.
No, I would say Michael Barnes said maybe bourbon isn't the only thing he's scamming at this point.
Yeah, you never know.
For sure.
So Jordan, what are you going to say?
I was just going to say it's one of those things too. For some people, it's just never enough, right? Like it doesn't matter how much they have; they always just want more, right? So whether he was flashy with no substance behind it, or maybe he actually did have it and he was just caught up, and to him it was the game, right? That was what he got off on, just getting more and more and more, no matter the cost. That's the crappy thing, because self-doubt, and like everyone else is selling bourbon, now everyone has self-doubt about it. It's a crappy thing to inject into the system.
I agree. There's go ahead, Ron.
About Well, with the new state law that passed here that liquor stores bars and restaurants can buy vintage, to sell at bars and stuff. When they do those transactions, are those legal or through those secondary markets, or and how much more is this going to incentivize the fake?
Yeah, unless I'm going to get choppy again here. So that just the Kentucky vintage law statute just passed, and they're working on the regulations for it to define what's vintage. Is vintage because you can't get it now, or is it from the real Old Taylor distillery? Does it have to be discontinued in that way? So they're still working on that, but it's going to be up to those retailers who buy to verify buying something legitimate. And that's actually, I posted about a year ago when my proposal to have the clearinghouse where you give that kind of license to the retailer to make sure you've got something authentic. So I think that's essentially what's going to happen. I mean, that opens up the secondary market, and it gives us some assurances legitimate instead of buying from some guy on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as you said, I don't know if the vintage law, all those pieces to it have been evaluated yet. That says what is. I mean, how are you going to determine if the bottle is real or not? Or do you have to bring a piece of paper that has the genealogy of the bottle from past history of transactions, right? Like, I don't know what that's going to look like. And honestly, I think when this whole thing went down, don't get me wrong, there's already bar owners here in Louisville that are buying up stocks. I mean, they are going nuts right now in secondary markets and buying absolutely everything they get their hands on because they know prices are going to go up. There's a few names that you'll see in the forums every single day, and they buy things by the truckload because they know that they're going to have a full bar of stuff that they can be able to sell here in the next year or two at a considerable premium as well. So it is definitely going to be on them to do their due diligence of being able to figure out what does it mean to be able to, is this bottle real or not? So that there definitely is a big if there, right?
Yeah. So when you go to Jack Rose, do you trust that what they're serving you is real? And I think the answer is going to be yes. They've got a trusted name. You go there and there's 27,000 bottles. What the number is, and dealers start up under the vintage law, and as bars stock up, it's going to be a trust game. And as soon as there's any sniff that they're selling you in a Pappy 20 bottle, then they're done. I mean, what this shows is that the bourbon community is quick to react.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I mean, that's one of the questions I didn't, kind of throw it out here is that, in this part one, everybody was very much ready to just start taking off his head. Just basically ready to just start going at him. However, the people who did the sleuthing asked people to kind of just hold still for a little bit, let us figure this out. I mean, would you have been level-headed enough to be able to do that? Or would you just said, I got screwed, fuck this, let's tear them apart? Because there's a lot of idiots out there, let's be honest, right? There's more people in these secondary markets than there are, I guess you can say the intelligent people enough that would be able to have a level head to be able to do it.
Wait, what's the question again?
I mean, would you have had a level head?
Kerry just knocked out a quick mile on the treadmill in the background, so he didn't hear the last question.
Somebody said it had third world internet, so I had to put a switch and a router and get a wire over here. So I was doing some IT work. Anyway.
Well, welcome back. And by the way, we should also just go ahead and give ourselves a pat on the back. We have just eclipsed 116 viewers, so we have finally beaten 100 viewers live on the Roundtable.
I want to thank every member of my family who tuned in.
All 116 of them.
Yeah.
All right. So back one more question. I'll throw this in a different direction. So there's something, some of these forums, they have a rule in place that after you sell something that you can't delete a post. However, his were always deleted. So is that another thing that you immediately just more red flags are being raised, yet nobody seemed to really notice at the time?
I wouldn't have noticed.
He's a scumbag. I mean, like, he scammed people. He knew he scammed people. He's gotten off the hook. He's written a formal letter of apology for it. But if he hadn't been caught, he would have kept doing it. So I don't know why people are even paying him attention. Don't buy from him again. He's a scumbag. He'll always be a scumbag. I mean, no offense to him personally. Any random person. I mean that in a general sense of anybody who feels the need to scam people in any kind of way. If it's Pokemon cards or it's bourbon or it's whatever it is, like you're taking advantage of the human instinct most people are trusting by nature, and you're taking advantage of that. And I just think it's fucking bullshit.
I agree. All right, so let's move on. Part 2. Within 24 hours, he shut down his Facebook account. People started blasting his business on Yelp, Facebook, and Google. The business took down their Facebook pages, and it didn't take long for anybody to find his home address since he had shipped so many packages. Not to mention the Yelp rating went down to 1 star almost immediately. A&A started the refund process that involved Brandon's cooperation. Brandon also has a full statement to make to apologize to the bourbon community, which we'll read in part 3. The community itself was in an uproar and wanted his head on a silver platter. A&A insisted that they're not going soft on him, but they're being practical, level-headed, and extremely wary. Brandon asked that everyone stop the retaliations against his business and his family so that those that posted public messages about him, that they had hopefully deleted them. He knows that everyone was beyond furious and that will be addressed in a statement. A&A said, immediacy is not the priority. Accuracy and thoroughness is. Again, thank you for the cooperation, understanding, and patience. So I'll throw this out to you, Jordan. Did deleting his Facebook account really help the situation here?
I think it's just, add fuel to the fire. Here's the problem with something like this. It took him, 48, 72 hours before he wrote an apology letter. And even then, when you read, if you're going to read parts of that letter in part 3, it doesn't, at least to me when I read it, doesn't come across as super sincere, right? He still deflects a lot of I didn't do too many bottles. Don't worry. Most of them are at my house. I destroyed the other ones. And it's like, just take my word. Trust me again. It just doesn't work that way. So, I don't know. The whole thing's just, I have my thoughts on it. I have, and deleting your Facebook page doesn't help anything, right? It just allows people to go after a different forum, whether it's his business or any other public venue that they can find to vent frustration. That was a stupid move on his part. Do I feel bad for him? No, not one bit. Right. Like I said, not only did he inject bottles into the market, but who knows? He says he didn't do too many. You can't trust that. And then those get flipped and flipped again. And it just puts this whole self-doubt in the whole thing, which is a shame. Because the whole point of this is not to screw people over. It's just to have a bunch of fun with it.
Right. The whole point is that. And also, Four Roses was his big, I think that was one of his big.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will crash the Four Roses market, because I'm looking for 2015, and that was one of the big ones he forged. So looking for those, just throwing that out there. But yeah, I don't know that you can ever fully trust any transaction from someone you don't know. And the thing is, I guess with Brandon, everyone could vouch for him. They would say, can anyone vouch for really know what they're doing?
No, I totally agree. I mean, I would have been in the corner of being able to say I could vouch for him. I mean, I bought bottles off him, and thankfully mine were legit because I just bought some I bought some shelf turds, right? So it was just some lower end stuff that I got way less than retail because he just wanted to get rid of them. So that or might have been his first fakes. Who knows? One or the other, right?
Really just testing things out.
I'll tell you what, this Russell's Rye actually tastes like a rye, so he fooled me.
I do like
the bourbon community, even though we rose up and went a little crazy, if this was the drug business and he faked it, it'd be a whole different story. But here we are, forgiving him and moving on and everything. He gone. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is what it is. It's a hobby, right? And we collect this stuff not just for drinking it, but for collecting it too. And to have somebody come in and, kind of throw waves like he did and kind of interrupt everything. I think also that once we get through all the crap of it, the benefit is that I think it makes people more wary and almost even helps, because now you almost have people who are afraid, even the crooks out there, they're going to do this. they're afraid to get caught or screw up or do something to get caught about it. So, you know, I see it kind of both ways too. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I can just appreciate the passion of the community to go after him, to go after his business, because like reminds me of UK basketball when that referee, like the roofery, where they went after and
roofery,
one star reviews and whatnot. I mean, too far, but I don't know, maybe not. He screwed people over, so it's kind of funny though.
Bartman is still in hiding from the Cubs, whatever it was 12 years ago. So if they can do it to Bartman and the Cubs can still win a World Series, maybe there's redemption. No, even if he deletes his Facebook, does all this stuff, what's it really matter? The problem really was he was putting fake bottles. I don't think there's any reaction after that anybody's going to be like, okay, never mind. Even if he just came out immediately and said, I'm sorry, shouldn't have done this, I'm going to refund you right away, he still would have gotten the same treatment, the fake Yelp reviews, all this stuff. He really kind of buried himself with the fake bottles, and anything after that, just we can kind of critique. But that was really the end of it, once it was proven that he was faking and scamming people.
Well, I'll kind of retort back to that and kind of throw another question back to you there, Blake, because he's the one sitting there making all the demands of saying, like, don't tear apart my family, don't tear apart my business, like they're innocent and all this. Do you really think he's in a position to make those demands? Because in my opinion, he kind of still has the upper hand right here. He still has everybody's money. He could just go away and never be seen again.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, because in reality, his family and business, because I mean, I don't know much about him or anything, but it sounds like he doesn't own the business. It's kind of his dad's and stuff. So should everyone be held responsible if their son is a screw up, or if their brother or whatever is a screw up? I don't know. That's a tough call to make. I think people should be aware of what kind of guy he is, and I'm not giving him any slack by any means. Like, hey, if there's a way to bring criminal charges, do it. But bringing somebody's family and all that, threatening somebody's family or something like I can't agree with that. But do whatever you can to get the money back, and then put whatever reviews and that kind of stuff out there. But I think getting the people who were scammed repaid is the biggest priority. And all that goes away if this guy feels like he's being threatened and has to go into hiding and that kind of thing. So I assume that's what the intent was of saying, hey, give him some time. It wasn't like, hey, give this guy mercy. I think it was, hey, give him some time. He says he's going to repay everyone. Let's get that done and then take it from there. So
I might be wrong. Maybe I missed it on any of the forums, but I know he's claimed to have refunded people, but has anyone stepped up and said, oh yeah, he 100% refunded me and everything's good?
I've seen someone say that they were refunded.
Oh, they were? Okay.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like somebody I knew or anything, but I saw at least one guy I know of said they were refunded.
So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, for some people. And at this, and Brian, this might be more directed towards you. At this time, it was rumored that the local news had caught wind of the story, but from what I've seen, nothing has ever aired or anything like that. From a slander point of view, is this something that could have been broadcast on public airwaves? Is this something that is public domain and public knowledge that could do that?
Well, any news outlet's going to want more than just internet rumors, which is probably how they see it. They're going to want something more before they report on it. So that's probably
we are a news organization
on the news.
The Perverter News Network.
Well, now it'll be on the news tomorrow. Now it's on now it's on Bourbon Pursuit. They'll be calling you tomorrow, Kenny, for a quote.
I got nothing to say. No comment.
Yeah, no comment. Exactly. But that's probably what the news media was waiting on, is they want more than just what they see as online rumors, because they want more than one source, and they want. And back to our initial point, we're going to step up and try to kill the whole secondary market by complaining to the press or complaining to the authorities and trying to get criminal charges against him. I mean, it's just not something that's going to happen.
I know someone who was contacted by the news channel.
Really?
Yeah, he was
Over this story?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was one of the ones who was affected, and the anchor sent him a PM, and
he says no comment, right?
exactly.
So Ron Burgundy.
So they contact.
We all know what happened to snitches. So
Yeah, they contact 50 people, and 50 people who bought from him are going to say no comment because they don't want to say that they've bought on the secondary market. They don't want to be the one who's responsible for bringing it down.
I just snitched on the snitch. I may look out for horse heads in my bed.
That's right.
which, I mean, and with everything, you see like the random thing pop up, and I feel like Pennsylvania is the only state that seems to be cracking down on the people selling on Craigslist.
They crack down hard here. They crack down hard.
And you know, so there is always a little bit of that, but I don't know. I feel like the fear is minimum. But even if I did get ripped off, I still wouldn't go on the news and be like, yeah, this guy tried to sell me a Pappy Van Winkle.
This was unbelievable. Let me tell you. I also tried to buy fake weed from him, and it was not even real.
It was oregano.
I'd put on a Bourbon Pursuit T-shirt and just say, "Hey, Kenny Coleman here."
The best way to get away with it. I mean, even on the secondary markets, I've got friends that are police officers that are in those groups, and they don't care. They'd rather buy bourbon. They don't care, right? Like in Louisville, it's not like a high crime. Like nobody gives a shit.
It's not an arrestable offense. I mean, no one's going to do it.
Yeah.
And the nice thing at least in Kentucky, as far as I can interpret, and it's not legal advice, all those disclaimers, you can buy. It's not illegal to buy on the secondary market. It's only illegal to sell. So everyone who's kind of skitzed out about this because they bought from him maybe doesn't have too much to worry about, but they probably sell too, and they don't want the whole market to go under.
So you heard that from a lawyer. So
you heard
not legal
advice.
Handle the law.
I'm gonna put a big
it's
asterisk.
not illegal to pay a prostitute, but it's illegal for a prostitute to accept the money.
Right.
Got it.
Is that right?
Yeah, friend just asked.
Yeah, asking
for a friend.
What about drugs? Is it illegal to buy drugs, but the drug dealer gets in trouble if he accepts the money instead?
Somehow I feel like those are all twisted. Maybe we need Brian as our lawyer if we get in trouble.
we just pay him in fake bottles then.
Yeah, yeah. And look at Kenny's shelf, and I'll take some of those as a retainer.
Yeah, I bet you would. Yeah. So, to salvage his family business, Brandon also went on a Yelp and he made a review himself. And he said, there's some people out there trying to destroy, or quote unquote, our business reputation by making false accusations. We have been in business since 1956 and our track record speaks for itself. We helped hundreds of families buy and sell their home. Our business was built around service and integrity. That takes some balls to be able to say something like that.
It takes a lot of balls, seeing as he made that post before he made his apology letter to the community. So I think that really riled up a bunch of folks in that order too. It's not like he was like, oh, let me apologize, then do this. It was, let me worry about myself first, and then I'll explain myself to others, which I think was the crux of what really riled people up.
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly surprised when I saw that, and it was just kind of like, man, it just threw the word integrity out there. I thought that was the key kicker for me.
Yeah. I feel like I've just become so jaded in my older age, but I just expect people to be very self-serving and just completely ridiculous, because I feel like that's what that statement is. But then again, it's not that surprising that he's going to try to say to the guys he scammed, I'm so sorry, I'm going to pay you back. And then in this other arena, like life is completely separate in the world of the internet, say, nope, this is a very honest.
No, that's my virtual life. This is my real life.
But I don't know. It still is just like, that sounds about right. It's like a guy like that would do that. If you're willing to sell fake bottles, you're probably willing to throw that kind of stuff out there as well.
Truth.
All right, so let's move on. Part 3. Brandon releases his statement. ANA says Brandon's statement is entirely him. What you see is entirely, or what you see here that I'm about to say is entirely ANA. ANA presented the facts, not passing judgment or offering opinion, so please recognize that as such. ANA is not representing Brandon. ANA is trying to track down fakes and get restitution to those who were defrauded. ANA isn't the law or the government. ANA did this for the benefit of the community and because of their interest and expertise in counterfeit and collectible whiskey. Brandon has so far refunded 9 people at this time since this was uncovered and is working on the 10th to agree a payment for a larger multi-bottle purchase. ANA can confirm that Brandon is working to repay off all those who receive fakes. He has to pull together finances. His restitution to all those received fakes truly does seem to be his goal and achievable, though it may take some time. That is ANA's feeling at this time. A team was assembled to review the fakes, and the team is highly regarded in the community for knowing vintage bottles, and restitution comes directly from Brandon. At this point, ANA has confirmed about 30 fakes, 24 were traded and sold, and 6 were at his home, quote unquote, sealed. Another couple or dozen so open bottles, refilled but not resealed, were also on display as stock on his home bar. He also bought a small number of red and green tax strips. So they estimate the total fakes is estimated around 16,000. They figured it may rise to around 18 to 20,000. The number of victims is around 20, which also may rise by a few. The uncertainty is because Brandon is often inexact and hard to pin down on details. He has been cooperative, yet sometimes evasive or unavailable. ANA did not suspect this was of a significant larger scale. To help identify fakes and empties and refills, ANA's MO commonly included Brandon asking questions that he already knew the answer to. For instance, when Brandon first sent us his statement, it claimed he didn't fake anything prior to 2017. However, ANA knew this to be untrue, although the vast majority of his fakes were made in 2017. When ANA finally confronted that untruth with evidence to the contrary, Brandon revised the not before date to November 2016. ANA confirms that Brandon was buying empties on eBay as early as November 2016. At this point, no evidence has presented itself that he made fakes prior to then. I think this gets where it's a little funny in my opinion. Brandon destroyed the open, quote-unquote, fake drinker bottles he had provided before the pictures, as well as a video of him smashing them. Since ANA recognized this as a dangerous task, they reminded Brandon to wear protective gear, gloves, thick clothing, eye protection, etc. Brandon chose to wear no protection, ended up in urgent care with injuries to his hand and foot. This included an example of one of the many challenges that caused continued delays and frustrations. ANA concludes they are not here to let him off easy. They are trying to keep this away from law enforcement. They've asked for your patience and cooperation. It was been a very difficult and intensive process. Here's Brandon's statement. I want to formally apologize to everyone affiliated with these groups. This was without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life, and it's something I've had to learn and live with. I understand that admitting my faults and working to make each one right will never be good enough. With the exception of my brother's death, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to go through in my life. Many innocent people that I'm close to are now being negatively affected by this. I would ask that the people focus their hate on me instead of my family or businesses I'm associated with. The problem I'm faced with now is that I was a very active seller in these groups for the past couple of years. I checked my FedEx account and I shipped over 1,200 packages in 24 months. 77% of these packages had more than one bottle. Now, everyone I sold to thinks they received a fake bottle, and I completely understand why. 98.6% of everything I sold was real. I'm hoping that the people will soon to see that to be true. What I did was wrong, and by no means am I trying to justify my actions to this message. I've worked with others to confirm fake bottles with whom they went along with a plan and how they will be paid back. I have destroyed any fake bottles I had in my possession. The list of fake bottles isn't nearly as long as you may think. Some of you have already received refunds, and others have been in contact with and committed to a date in which they will receive their refund. I would ask that you all remove all the public messages about me that have been posted. People are posting negative remarks about my company all across the internet. Doing this affects too many innocent people. I know that you want to destroy me, and reading this message may make you want to hate me even more. For me to be accused of selling tens of thousands of dollars of fake bourbon is crazy. I've seen some reviews where I'm being accused of selling hundreds of thousands of dollars in fake bourbon. I would like to apologize for my Yelp post. I was trying to defend the business itself and not my actions. I can see how that would have been misinterpreted. I've removed that post. Telling the truth comes with many consequences, which I'm fully prepared to accept. However, the situation has snowballed and has gotten extremely out of proportion. I've had countless threats, mainly from people that I did nothing to. The few guys that were directly impacted by this have been most forgiving. I've never really been a religious man, but this has made me look to God as I don't know what else to do. I'm praying every day and hoping that people will view me now for how I handled this as opposed to what I have done. To the guys that did receive fake bottles, I want to assure you that I will make this right. There are no words that can explain how bad I feel about this. I will not do any good to post factors that led to me doing this. The bottom line is it was wrong. I built a lot of good relationships. This keyword right here is a lot because he spells it A-L-L-O-T over the past few years with, again, A-L-L-O-T, a lot of you. And now those relationships have been destroyed. For me, that's my biggest loss. Many of you defended me in the time of need, and I let each and every one of you down. This, most of all, is having a hard time dealing with. The guys in these groups share a special bond that I can't describe. It was a bond that made these groups so enjoyable to be part of over the last few years. I could have easily denied all these allegations and just disappeared, but in order for me to clear my conscience, I have to make this right. There is no doubt that the biggest mistake I've ever had to fix in my life. I want to emphasize that I'm going to complete the refund process. I want this over, and I couldn't imagine how bad it would be if I could say I could send refunds and I didn't come through. I didn't plan on paying anyone back. I wouldn't even bother responding to the messages I received. I wouldn't bother cooperating in general. I just want to make that clear. My goal is to have 100% of refunds completed by the 4th of July. So just to clarify, there's no confusion. I've already refunded 10 guys. The remaining few will get the refunds by next Friday. I have a plan in place to make that happen. In closing, I hope people use this as an example of what not to do. I really enjoyed getting to know many of you and will miss being a part of the community. You'll never see me in the years to come to sell another bottle of bourbon. In the hours that followed,
No one will buy.
Yep, that was it. And so, and in the hours that followed,
Reminds me of Rick Pitino.
Well, I was going to kind of wrap this up right here. And, in the hours that followed, there was a new 5-star review on Yelp by Cliff B saying that the negative reviews are the furthest thing from the truth. Brandon is a very respected agent. Looks like to me a bunch of drunk bourbon members have spent too much time in their hands. And I speak for a lot of people, A-L-L-O-T, when I say that you will always have our respect. This was easily the most ousted fake review because it was just easily be able to see as branded because he just can't spell the word a lot. And then the memes just continue from there. So
that's actually the word all it. It's a Western Kentucky dialect.
How do you spell a lot?
That's considered applause. Can everybody just give him applause real quick?
Oh man, I feel like I was back in the classroom right there, right?
It was like with Bernie.
So I'm going to make a kid's story, and it's called the Brandon Priest story, and it's just his speech, and I'm going to read it to my kids when I want them to go to bed. It's a giant bunch of bullshit intended to put someone to sleep. Okay? Let's just go ahead and publish it. Thank you, Brandon, for giving me the source to put my kids to sleep. A complete pile of bullshit. You're a crook. You scammed people. Fuck you. And that's it. That's all I have to say.
So we could tell that Carrie didn't think this was sincere at all. Did anybody get the slightest amount of sincerity out of it?
No,
none
it's just
whatsoever.
Like Rick Pitino when he goes and blabs about all his shit. It's like you can't. It's like one ear out the other. You don't listen to it. It's all fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know what's
what else?
Go ahead, Jordan.
I was going to say, so you know what actually jumps out? One, I do think the letter's bullshit, and some of the comments in the chat, I think the same thing. He shipped, Travis Roberts shipped 50 packages per month for 2 consecutive years, and he's only claiming, less than 1% were fake. But I think what jumps out at me is the fact that he admits, if I was him, I wouldn't be so afraid that I rip people. People want to have his head and report him for selling fake bourbons, but he flat out admits to shipping 1,200 packages of alcohol. Most likely across all our state lines, which to me, is he freaking? I knew he was crazy, but that's just absurd. That's the thing I'd be scared about saying out loud to anyone. And there he goes. He's not the brightest guy in town.
That's exhibit
just
A,
ridiculous.
Right? It's
ridiculous.
exhibit A, B, C, and D.
Yeah,
right there.
Except it was in the form of some sort of text document in one of these forums that was posted by A&A, right? So
that's true too. Well, but yeah.
So that's hard to pin down. So what do you guys think the verdict is here, right? That they're really only looking at 16 to 20,000, or you think this is still a very shady situation? You think that only 30 people out of 1,200 packages were scammed? Do you think it could be way more than that?
It's hard to say because you don't know what happened with the real investigation. Did they say, hey, here's the fake or the empty bottles we know you bought, and so these had to be fake? And he said, okay, yeah, those are the fake ones, nothing else. Or those were just the ones he was caught with. So my guess is it has to be a lot more. I don't think you just all of a sudden, I mean, maybe the community just got lucky and caught him at the very beginning. It is a pretty closely knit and intelligent community. So, maybe we got lucky with that one and dodged a bullet, that it's not like 2019 and it's been going on for 2 years. And I don't know. If I had to bet, I'd say there's a lot more out there that is fake, and he's just trying to get away with them.
Yeah,
I would agree too. I don't think the math and the ratio it evens out. I think that there's probably way more that there could have been. I hope that you're right, that this was caught at the very tip of it and hasn't been going on for longer than that. It also kind of makes me think that there's you guys have mentioned sour grapes a few times and how that's a very a more sophisticated operation. You think that if he was going to be doing this and thinking of doing it longer term, he may would have tried to make them like much better fakes, like more legit, right? Because it seems that as soon as people started looking at them, all of a sudden people were noticing all these little consistencies, like the Four Roses film, like not being completely tight against the bottle, and had all these kind of creases in it, right? So there's a lot of things that he kind of slipped up on himself and was more or less just not being careful about it.
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot more, because there's probably a lot of buyers that are like me who don't investigate the bottles and look at the strips and the packaging, and I just open it and I drink it, and that's so there's probably a lot more.
I think another thing to keep in mind too is, and it kind of reiterates the fact that a lot of people have local groups. Like for me, living in Atlanta, there's a large group of people in Atlanta. I'm sure there's people in Kentucky and elsewhere who have local groups. It's always smarter to trade locally, especially when there's somebody locally that has a reputation for being an honest person. It just, when you're in a group that has 18,000 people in it, or where you're on eBay or wherever that group is, and you're trading with that many people, there's bound to be some bad fish in there. But if you stick to local, when there are big purchases that you want to make, or you need to offload, I always go local first if I can, because I know people, I build relationships. People who may buy those bottles, they say, hey, come on over and drink them, open them up. I mean, I don't sell bottles. Clearly that's illegal, but like friends of mine who do that kind of stuff, they do it locally.
And you can slash their tires because they're local to you if you found out something's wrong with it, right?
Right, exactly. Also, can I just add real quick, Kenny, what's wrong with Sazerac and Eagle Rare 17?
because they're not open back there.
Do you have a problem with those two? I'll really take them from you.
I did that on purpose because I knew you'd look at it and you get your mouth watering the entire time.
This makes me mad.
It's because I haven't been over there yet in a while.
Yeah.
Open them.
Every time Ryan comes over to my house, I end up losing like $1,500.
Well, $1,500
bottles.
Secondary value.
Yeah, exactly. Trade value. So
trade value.
So one last question I kind of want to throw at you guys here. So once the payments are done and restitution's complete, what happens? Are the floodgates open at that point? Like, do you think that people are just going to let it go, or do you think it's, as Brandon said, most of the people that have been rude to him aren't even the people that he scammed. It's just people that just they want to. I don't know. They just want to put their nose in some other people's business. So,
like us.
Kind of like us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but no. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're not sitting there like
we're casting the first stone.
Yeah, we're not casting any stones, right? We're just kind of putting the facts and kind of telling the story of what's out there, right? So, I mean, what happens at this point? Do you think people are gonna be level-headed and let it slide and say, well, I hope this doesn't happen again, even though we think it probably will, but or do you think people are just gonna go haywire and I know there's websites where you can send boxes of shit to people's doorsteps.
I mean, the internet is really known for its level-headedness and grace and mercy. So I have a feeling it's going to work out well for him.
You ready for this? I would bet you that of online, I would say 70% of people who are in secondary markets still have no idea who this person is. And therefore, if this person posted a bottle in said secondary market without anybody else saying anything, they would still purchase. Because people, I think, more than not, look at what's being sold as opposed to who the person is. They just don't care, or they just don't know.
Yeah. Or he could
You
do
can
a
do it
different name.
without a fake name.
Yeah.
He does it in his own name, and you think he still does it, Kerry?
I think that so many people aren't that closely tied to it that still don't know who he is or what he did.
Wow.
I would say a majority still don't.
I mean, it was in a few select, kind of places. So I can understand where there is a large majority who may not know, but I don't know. I think the contrary. I think most people that are in this, or maybe that, I guess you could say that are whiskey geeks or like have nothing better to do with their life except focus around bourbon. They're the ones that all know about it, right? So
true. I mean, like everyone listening in knows about it, but I'm talking about all the people on Bourbon Art.
Yeah. Hey, we just did 106 viewers. I mean, who else needs to know about it other than these 126 people?
That's all there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, for me, that last sentence for me was great because that's one less person in Louisville have to worry about getting a bottle in front of me. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it sounds like more than one because wasn't he like just paying people to stand in line and everything?
Oh yeah,
Could be 5 or 6.
Yeah, it might be more than that actually. So
And
yeah,
they'll be replaced with another like 400.
I already know another one that sends more. So you're screwed over there in Kentucky, while over here on the East Coast, we're just sitting back like this, just living life, right? Am I right?
We've been screwed.
picking up SAS 18s left and right for you.
Or Rhetoric 23. Yeah.
Yeah, or Orphan Barrels, whatever it is.
Yeah, we got the new Weller 12 label coming out like it's William LaRue Weller right now.
Because everyone is going to go crazy.
I mean, we're talking about secondary markets. Let's just go ahead and bring it up because it's topic. I mean, how crazy has that gotten that a $35 bottle is now $150 bottle ship? I mean,
it's unreal.
I got a call from ABC's the store who they're the only ones who get Weller in Florida. And I don't even remember signing up for this list. But they said, guess what? Got something for you. I'm like, oh, man, because they do a lottery for all their Pappy and antique collection. I'm thinking I won the lottery. They're like, Weller 12 just came in. Got your name on it. I'm like, I'm excited at first. And then I'm thinking to myself, why am I excited? I mean, I went and bought it. It was $50 for a 175, so I'm not going to turn that down. But
you remember when Weller 12 was like sweetener for a deal?
Yeah. Okay, I'll throw it.
That wasn't that long ago either. That was not that long ago.
Weller 12s.
That's when I saved it all.
Yeah. Wise man. Why?
There you go.
Crazy.
It's for the price. It's good, but like people just hold this up and like revere this bourbon now. It's like, especially as more people join every day, it's like, Weller 12 got it. It's like the best thing ever. It's like
that and the Weller store
Holy
picks,
crap.
antiques. It's like
that's all there is.
That store picks is even crazier, actually.
Yeah, the 107 store picks. I mean,
I'm
that's
like,
all
why
you
is the
can
party
get.
mark $300? Fuck that.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pay to get something engraved on it, man. That blows it up.
It's 7 year. It is 7-year Weller. It's just a little higher proof. I don't care how cool the red label is. It is still 7-year Weller Special Reserve that you pass over.
But have you seen the new labels? They come with a metal screw cap instead.
I mean, they're pretty labels. I fall for it. I mean, it's cool, but come on.
Yeah, I knew just by that small label change, the Weller's probably
they knew what they were doing.
It's probably going to be 300 next year at this time or something crazy like that. But
How much is the old label worth now?
Fred Minnick said
that's what I'm thinking.
So I'm moving on to rum. Fred Minnick knows what's up, right?
I mean, but yeah. So has the old label, is that worth more? Is that what Rare Breed is doing with changing the label every month?
Nobody's selling the old label.
I'm holding on to a bunch
Yeah,
of it.
I heard there's a guy in Louisville selling it.
I've got one I got to refill here.
I know a guy.
He can get you a bottle.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I kind of want to close it out there. I think this is a pretty good discussion. I want to say thank you all again for coming on the show tonight. This was fun. I did a lot of reading from a script, but I think it was a way to kind of frame the story and ask the questions as we go along. So thank you everybody for bearing with me along with that. And so Ryan, what'd you think, man? Good night.
Yeah, it was like an interesting dateline, kind of following along. Like we needed Lester Holt here to kind of guide us through. Yeah. No, I thought it was awesome. I mean, yeah.
The Chris Hansen.
It's a shame it happened, but we knew it was going to.
This was a Chris Hansen bourbon story.
Yeah.
A predator was caught.
All right, so go around the horn and go around the table one more time. Get everybody an idea of where you blog and where you talk at.
Blake, you're up.
I'll go again. Okay. Blake from bourboner.com. Again, you can find me at pretty much any social media outlet, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I have like one video up on YouTube, so if you want to subscribe there as well, you can do that. It's BOURBONR.com.
All right, and I'm in corn, and the non-paid product placement is an Elijah Craig 12-year at 91 proof. And yes, that says Old Pogue on it.
I was going to say, how much have you been drinking tonight, Brian?
That's exactly
the wrong bottle.
It's sourced from Bardstown. It's a 12-year 91.
I thought his internet was choppy, but it's him.
Yeah, I'm choppy. So it's still sourced, and it's $110 for an Elijah Craig 12. Guys,
it was Old Pogu.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So Sipping Corn, SIPP''N Corn. Find me on Twitter and Blogspot. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, my man.
Cheers. This is Jordan from Breaking Bourbon. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon at Breaking Bourbon. And check out the site for the latest release calendars and reviews.
Carrie, like clean up, man.
Can we first say that
Carrie, you laying down is freaking me out.
Are you modeling for us right now?
You're the Costanza lounging position.
All right. So first of all, let me start with making bourbon. The Patreon sounds awesome. I saw the list today.
Thank you.
If you have not signed up for that Patreon, I would definitely, because I am going to total impartial outsider. I would sign up for that to get that release calendar. The amount of work
We appreciate it.
that
Thank you.
is awesome, and I would love to be the first to get that. So that's awesome. Blake, love you as always, man. I love the Christmas tree in your background. That's awesome.
Afro.
Brian, Sipping Corn, your information that you provide is invaluable, and we love you for that. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
And Kenny and Brian, you guys are cool.
We try.
Thanks, man.
And, Ryan, and I just wish you would drink more Eagle Rare and Sazerac. And this is Carrie from Suburbia, SUBOURBIA. I'm, to the man named Mr. Priest out there, I may have said some mean things about you tonight, but listen, I am all for. No, you're a crook. Fuck you. Don't ever do that again. And I'm out.
Well, thank you, Carrie,
Well
and thank you,
said.
everybody else. That was awesome. Yeah, well said to kind of wrap that up. If you like what you hear, make sure you tell everybody about the podcast. There's a lot of summer trips that are going on, and you're going to be doing a lot of driving. So a lot of your friends are going to be driving. So tell them to pick up, subscribe to us on iTunes. This is, of course, another video podcast, so you can be able to watch this after it's all nice and cut and edited on Facebook. So make sure you follow us on Facebook as well. And we'll be pushing out all kinds of good pictures and stuff like that on Twitter and Instagram. So, of course, follow us on those great social media channels. With that, Ryan, close us out, man.
Wait.
Yep.
Before Ryan.
Oh, go ahead. Yep.
If it was
You
not
can do it
for
for me, Carrie.
Urban Pursuit, we would not be here, and you guys would not be here. So please support these guys because they're awesome. They put a lot of work into this.
Amen.
Truth.
Amen.
Thanks, Carrie. Appreciate it.
Truth.
Yes, Carrie. And you guys, please let us know what you want to hear. We know these community roundtables are popular, but what else do you guys want to hear, and we'll bring it to you. So I appreciate you all listening in, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Perfect. All right, they're good.
Guys.
So yeah, that was awesome, man.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
Good
yeah,
job.
yeah. That's just the way to just kind of like
That's
cut
fun.
it out and end it. Like, so it's a way to. We don't actually have to stop,
Jordan,
right?
I am gonna join that Patreon, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
No, we appreciate it. Thanks.
Jordan, what are you
Join
guys
ours?
giving away on Patreon? Because
So
I
we're
haven't
doing-
looked at it yet.
Yeah, so we're doing the lowest level. We're going to do every time we update the release calendar, we're going to do an email blast with our latest updates, because the release calendar is really long, right? So now it's just going to be every time it's updated, you're going to get, that day right then and there, the latest updates. And then we have some tasting sheets, some reusable laminated tasting sheets that are a different design for Patreon. And then we're also doing Glencairn's and a Glencairn tasting kit. So good way to, get stuff out there to folks.
Real cool. Probably a smarter idea than what I did.
Nice.
Tell you what, shipping out koozies and T-shirts is a bitch. So
Yeah, that was your
Been
idea.
down that
Hey, the
road.
most t-shirts at least.
Somebody early on in the comments though was saying they had their koozie out though, Kenny. I mean, they were.
there you go.
I know,
yeah,
man.
they
It's
were all
great.
about it.
It's great
Yeah.
marketing. But I tell you what,
I had
like,
my Bourbon Pursuit shirt on this weekend.
oh, there you go, repping that. And where were you? You were on vacation, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in New Smyrna. Yeah.
Yeah. There you
Where?
go.
New Smyrna?
Yeah, New Smyrna Beach. The shark bite capital of the world. Yeah.
There's a Smyrna, Kentucky you could have been to.
Similar
We don't wanna go
atmosphere. As
So they say there's a Smyrna in Georgia too, isn't there, Carrie?
Yes, there is, sir.
Yeah,
And
there
that's
is
why-
Smyrna in Georgia.
Hey, guys, can he just talk for a little bit so I can look at the background of while you're just like babble a little bit. So I
I'm
can look
looking at the
background.
top right section.
Let's see. For you, it'd
Top
be
right.
There you
over
go.
there.
Yeah.
I'll
yeah,
tell
wait
you
a
what's
minute.
up there. I've opened them.
Yeah, dude. I forget what you opened the last time when I was here, or you were here.
Is that Al Young open yet, Kenny?
No, not yet.
You don't have an Al Young?
No, I got 3 of them, but I'm
Boom.
just trying to. I'm waiting for
but
something.
but the plastic on one of them is sort of a different size.
yeah.
You've had it though, haven't you? At the events and everything.
Yeah, it was counterfeited
Go back
before it
that
even
way.
made its way to the market.
You've had the Al Young at different
Hey,
events.
Hey, pull out
Yeah,
the
I did have it.
23. I want to see the 23 real quick. Pull out the 23.
Oh, my 23 is not open. I can tell you that. Every other Pappy is open right here except the
Let me see
23.
the 20 right now. Let me see the 20. For your viewers, I want you to take a little taste.
Oh, you want me to? That's all right.
Straight from the bottle.
Wait, I need to see. I need to see a
Alright,
measuring
straight from the
tape.
bottle?
It's
I
hurting him. He
need
doesn't
to
want
see a
to.
measuring tape on the
He doesn't
on
wanna
the
do it.
foil.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Wow. See, this is the thing. So I was in fraternity in college, and I didn't do well with peer pressure. So I'll pretty much do anything that everybody cheers me on to do. So
Chug the whole bottle.
Get it. Yeah, boy.
Kenny, you're
How does
not
that
so
Genesis
innocent
taste?
yourself.
Bought that from
You,
Brandon, didn't you?
you brought a counterfeit bottle to my derby party.
I did do that. That was before counterfeiting was cool, though.
He
At
put some
first,
old folk. So listen to this. He
I got
put
it.
some Old
Here.
Forester
I got it right around here.
Old foe into the
in a
Pappy
in
bottle?
a Pappy bottle, and nobody touched it except my in-laws. And my father-in-law goes, "Your mother-in-law's never had that Pappy before, so I made her drink, and I didn't have the heart to tell her that."
If you take a sip of 15, I'll get my 15. Hold up.
Oh, this is Old Forester. This isn't even real 15. I was making my my mint juleps, and I had to take it out of the 1.75, and I didn't have another bottle to put it in. I said, "Oh, this is empty. This will work." So
Him and Brandon Priest got those empty.
yeah, I figured I'd pull somebody with it.
That fucking guy with his cigar.
I did open a Van Winkle rye this weekend, and
I saw
delicious.
that.
I'm interested to see what it's going to be like next year with the non-tanked. What was that? Old Medley or
I thought
Yeah,
I thought they weren't even going to have a rye this year, and they had to wait another year or two or something like that.
No, it's right. It'll be ready this year.
Oh, because I
But
mean
is it-
they had the Z's last year, right? So
yeah, Z. They had. I had this discussion with somebody. Is it going to be 13 years, or you think Buffalo Trace has been stocking up on that 16-year-old rye? and we'll try to release it.
It's there. The first year, they've already said this will be theirs.
Yeah, but will it be 13 years or will it be a little bit older?
No, it'll be 13 years. I spilled all over my bottle.
Well, I'm sure it'll be good, but that's going to be completely different.
That's Pappy 50. This is the shit you guys pay
totally different.
150 for, right here.
How much?
Hey,
Smells like crickets.
I think it's like 900 is what it goes for now.
Yeah.
The 15 year, something like that. Travis just had a question for us. He said, what percentage of secondary market members do you think bought bourbon for the purpose of just selling it this year compared to last year? He thinks there's been a big increase.
I would say, yeah, I think it went from like maybe 5% in 2013, 10% in 2014, 15. It's probably like a quarter of the market and will be 30% of the market in 2017, I would have to think. Just by guys locally who I know will buy bottles and are like, oh man, you wouldn't believe what you can get for this on Craigslist. I'm like, crap. Like, that's where all the bottles are going now.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, I've been trying to get my wife to come out and do the wife mule thing for me so I can always get multiple bottles. But now I see everybody does the wife mule thing so they can get one bottle and sell the other. So
that's the mellow moment thing. You get your N1 guest, so you bring the wife.
No,
I got lucky on that one a couple years ago. I sent my wife into Total Wine. I said, ask if they have the Sazerac 18. If they do, get that. If not, get the Stag. She walked out with a bottle of both in her hands. I'm like, how did you pull that off? Apparently it pays to be a woman buying bourbon.
She showed some lead.
Yeah. Whatever you got to do, by all means.
She's still there listening?
I took a little shot of this Pappy. And I gotta say, it was really, really tasty. Like, so
you take everything back that you said
I
bad about it.
Because this was really good, taking this little bitty shot. Like, it was actually really delicious. So maybe
that's one you drink out of the bottle, though. I thought.
What's that?
You drink that one out of the bottle, though, right?
No, I did a little. I poured it in here. Be classy. Oh, just a little bit.
Oh, come on.
We want to see bottle chugs only.
What's the best Pappy? What year is the best?
20.
I'd say 15.
15.
I think
15 or rye is my favorite.
I think 20 is really good.
Well, the rye from the years ago, but I say 20 from a couple years back.
I'd agree with that 100%.
I haven't really liked any since it's been Buffalo. I mean, they're okay, but they're not like.
Kenny, what are you dying?
No, I thought Kenny was doing that to like set the mood for the story.
We started dimming real slow,
and all of a sudden,
what's with the night
Blair Witch Project
is he about to murder someone? Or
well, I know it had to go on like as I was talking. No, I've got so I got my home all like set up on this smart thing stuff, and so like I'm downstairs in my basement and the door's closed, and it knows that if the door's been closed for 45 minutes, that means usually nobody's down here. So turn off all the lights. So
Nerd alert.
Nice. I need
that's
that.
fancy.
where the hell is it?
The first thing I do when I come home is I turn off the lights in the basement because they've been on all day.
Hey, listen.
You guys in your basements.
Whoever's still
Turn it on right from there too.
in chat, I'm going to send them 2 ounces of. This is the real deal. This is the DSP2 Dan.
Okay, yeah.
Whoever's still in chat.
Chance.
Chat. If anyone is still there, let's give them a trivia question. Whoever gets it right can have 2 ounces sample sent for free.
That's a good idea. Okay, everyone pull 2 ounces from their bar.
Yeah.
Let's see how many of us are still on.
Kenny, let's just assume that I answered your question correctly and you can send it to me.
Oh yeah. We got 71 viewers still on right now. So
Okay,
So what's the question?
Sipping corn, we need a good, like, old school question from you.
make it hard.
well-
Make it hard.
I got what is DSP2? That's what they should be able.
No,
That's
they
what
can
they
just
should.
Google that. That's too easy.
Okay.
That's a Google. That's a
Did you
Google.
Google everything by now?
Yeah.
Cool game.
Who's the only woman watching right now?
My mom.
Yeah.
Your family, Carrie.
You know, I'll be in with this because I've actually had to ship samples out, and I've got a sample of Willet 14-year number 8137 sitting right here. I can ship out.
I have samples poured because the reason that I look sweaty is because I poured samples before this podcast, and like that's a lot of work. So
were you on the your treadmill doing that at the same exact time or what?
Yes, GSP2. Let's come up with a question. Come on. Sipping Corn. I want to know something about you that people don't know.
No, I don't get into private stuff.
How about
newlyweds?
Yeah, we gotta make this like winnable by somebody, right? So,
no. How about your favorite food?
What?
Favorite food?
Come on, make it a perfect question.
No one knows that.
I mean, is it guessable?
How about favorite?
We know his favorite
Heaven
cheese
Hill
is smoked
Warehouse?
Gouda.
Wait,
There you
what?
go. Favorite
See, somebody
Heaven Hill
can remember.
Warehouse.
The favorite Heaven Hill. Favorite Heaven Hill Warehouse.
Hill Warehouse. There is an answer to
Oh
this.
yeah, this was on the last community roundtable.
Because of a bourbon I had from
Mhm.
a particular warehouse. Heaven Hill Warehouse.
There you go. That's the question. 2 ounces of dance to whoever
Good
gets
question.
And 2 ounces of. Well, I'm gonna ask my own question.
Real Old
Oh,
Taylor?
Can I ask my own
Dang,
question?
I'll answer your question, Blake.
It's well, that's gonna be really easy. So it's gonna be the first one to answer.
Hey, Brian, I'm going to post it in the chat, our own chat. Tell me if it's right.
All right, I'll look. That's exactly right.
Yeah, we know what it is. So
Okay. What is
So-
Sippin' Corn's favorite warehouse for Heaven Hill? I just looked at the answers and made me laugh.
everybody's
Yeah,
we're just naming off letters and numbers and hoping.
I'm going to give a hint.
Warehouse X.
Yeah.
Warehouse X at Heaven Hill.
I'm going to give a
All
hint. It's a geographical location, not so much a alphabetical location.
Right. We don't need an alphabet. We need a
Was that a
can we
city
call it
or a county or
city? It's not a county. It's hardly a city.
It's a town.
It's, yeah. So
It's a
tell me
parcel.
a location. A location. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I agree with you because I've got a Bourbon Crusaders pick from there, and it's insane.
It's insane. It is the best
That's
94
where the
proof.
Parker's Heritage is coming from this year.
That's what I hear.
Mhm.
There's another knowledge.
There's another hint.
There it is.
There we
Across
go.
Water got it.
It's right across from my dad's
Brown
house.
water.
Brown
Congratulations.
water.
You're getting
Winter chicken dinner to brown water.
Woo! All right. I'm going with my question. Let me frame it. This is Old
That's
Taylor.
nice.
It's from I think it's 58.
Ask Brandon.
I forget. I'll send the year with it. What is the new Old Taylor distillery now called?
Nice.
Oh, good one.
Can I answer that?
Nope.
That's a softball.
That's a good one.
Softball. We got to wait for an answer.
Yeah, I know. 2 ounces of free Old Taylor right there.
There we
There
go.
it is.
22.
That's 22.
Oh,
Oh, Eric
Who's
just missed
the
it.
master distiller? Also,
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, everybody's kind of.
the selfie distiller.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
Yeah, seriously.
I think we should
play
give
up
that
to a
one.
contest. This is fun. Come on. Let's do
Give
it.
that one a 22.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Cash me too,
I'll do one as well since I've got this Willet 14-year 8137 right here at 128.9 proof. So let's see. I'm trying to think of some good questions. I'm open to anything you got as well, Ryan. Let's be from the both of us.
name
I
of.
was about to say, is like, what city is Ryan from? But everybody should know that. By now.
the favorite person you've ever interviewed on a solo podcast.
We're gonna go with episode number 5. Blake from Bourboner.com.
That's right.
Now, let me think.
Brown Water, send a PM. I sent you a message. Send me a PM. You get your dance. Should I give away 2 ounces of Pappy 15?
You better make it a tough question then.
Yeah, that'd be a
Yeah.
I don't know. What do the chat people think? Should I give away 2 ounces of Pappy 15?
You know what that answer's going to be.
Here,
Yeah.
I got a trick question, and this is an old Jimmy Russell question, and this is what's going to be up here. How long does White Dog need to be in a barrel before it can be called a bourbon?
Ooh.
Ooh. I know the answer to that.
I do too.
I'm going to post it in chat and see if I'm right.
One second.
Yeah, I'll give it to Catch 22 there. 1 second. Yep.
Catch 20. Yeah, Catch 22's got to chill.
He's on it. He's on it today. So yeah. So if anybody doesn't know, that's kind of a funny trick is that it's 2 years to actually be called a straight whiskey, a straight bourbon. But as soon as the White Dog touches a newly charred oak barrel, it is called a bourbon. And it could be there for less than 15 seconds. You could dump it out in a bottle.
Which I don't even think it has to be a barrel.
It could be in a bucket. It's like
a wooden boat, right?
Yeah. The regulation, the word in the regulation is container. So
we got a discrepancy. So Eric said that I said 0. And I'm like, I don't know if that's technically accurate,
0,
right?
No, it's got to be in it.
It's got to be touching.
It's got to be touching
touch
it,
it,
right? So yeah.
So 0.00001, right?
That would have worked. But 0.
Zero is close enough.
Always
We'll round up.
Right, bitch. All right, listen, I'll give away
Technically,
the
he didn't go
2
over.
ounces. I will give away 1 ounce for free. 1. Okay. I want to know. They already know what I have up on my screen. Let's think back to our earlier podcast. What's a question I could ask on the earlier podcast? Okay, what is my favorite drink of all time?
The dog got it for sure.
What's my favorite drink?
Your favorite drink of all time?
Yes.
Favorite drink of all time.
Kenny, you know what this is.
Is it a fuzzy navel?
So it could be a barrel of Rick Pitino.
What pour? If I was in heaven and they offered
I know
as
this.
a pause, Travis Roberts has a good Rick Pitino comment.
Okay, Ryan has to send Travis something in a sample for the Rick Pitino comment.
There still isn't a right answer up there about what's his favorite bourbon, favorite drink up there.
No, it's from Atlanta, so you got to be Coca-Cola.
No. My
Again, there it is.
There it is. Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Aaron starts.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh man. There's so many close ones. Mark had SAS 15, Kevin had SAS 18, but it was SAS 17, but it was SAS 18. Yeah.
Woodford Master Corn.
I'm out. I'm gonna go see if Florida can win a national championship. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
All right. See you later, Blake.
See you later, Blake. There's still people. I don't have a sample bottled up, but we do have. I can send out a Breaking Bourbon Glencairn if people want.
Oh man!
Right. So if anyone wants a free Glencairn, so that's not a sample, but I'll do a Glencairn. Little curveball of a. Well, yeah. All right. No Glencairn for you. Here's a curveball. Here's a curveball question. So I'm part of the Buffalo Trace Friends of the Trace program, right? So how many people does Mark Brown let into the program per quarter?
None.
Wait, whoa.
That's a tough one.
What?
Because I don't even know it.
Mark Brown told me they don't let bloggers in.
I wasn't let in through Breaking Bourbon.
Fuck that. I am so mad.
I've been a member for a while, right? This was well before. My time in Bourbon's well before Breaking Bourbon.
I am so pissed.
That's when you know you're doing bourbon before bourbon was cool.
Yeah.
There it is. Michael's got it.
There it is. There it is. Michael, send us a note, bbteam@breakingbourbon.com. I can't type in the chat or else I'd say the email address. But it's 10 a quarter.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
This
That was fun, guys.
I love the giveaway segment.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm glad I don't
speaking
give
of-
anything away.
So we've actually got, so for anybody that's still listening, we've got a lot of podcasts. We've actually got podcasts lined up to number 115 or 116 already lined out. And this is going to be like 101. So we've got all those already recorded and done. But the one cool thing that I've kind of found out is that you can send an email to a lot of these people and say, would you like to do a giveaway? And they're like, sure, we'll do free shit. And so we've got, I know, a Michter's Barrelhead. I know Four Roses is going to give some swag away. And those are all going to be taking place on the Facebook site. So make sure you follow Bourbon Pursuit on Facebook for some giveaways that will be happening here in the next few weeks.
All right.
Cool.
Fellas,
Yeah,
it's been a lot of fun.
work.
Thank you.
All right, hey, wait. I feel like I need to do a giveaway.
Yeah, giveaway.
Yeah, do a giveaway.
All right, how about a Booker's Rye giveaway?
Oh wow.
It's just the
Okay,
box,
2 ounce.
guys. It's just the box.
No, 2 ounce sample. You got to tell me, whoever's left on the chat here. Let's see. Was the copycat whiskey of Jack Daniels? If you read the blog, you know. One right?
I'm trying to remember if I knew it correctly or not.
Who copied Jack Daniels back in the 50s? Oh man, it's in my. There it is, Kevin Brinkoff, Ezra
That's
Brooks.
right. It was Ezra Brooks. That's right. Now it's all coming back to me. Wait, I forget what episode you were on. It was in the 20s or something like that, right?
It was early, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're
So,
like,
yeah.
when Maker, didn't they like do a big campaign to try to like copy Jack Daniels or something? But maybe
Knockers, yeah, no, it was totally Ezra Brooks. They took the square bottle. They took all the country sayings. It was all Ezra Brooks. So Kevin, you got to find a way to get a hold of me, and you got Booker's Rye coming.
That's awesome. All right,
not.
fellas.
That's some tasty stuff.
Yep. All right,
Peace out.
we're
All right,
out.
are we done?
Great.
I
Hey,
think
thanks
that's
for
good.
hosting us again.
Absolutely.
No
This was
problem.
fun. Make sure you all post it on all
Yeah.
your media channels, newsletters, and all that sort of stuff, and we'll drive some good downloads for this.
They're all going to be like, listen, we had an hour of like okay talk, and then they gave away free.
Then they gave shit away.
Wait till the end.
Yeah, you got the whole thing.
That's when they drank all of their Elijah Craig 12 called O Pogue.
They're just chugging Pappy 20 out of a bottle.
Right. Later.
All
See y'all.
right.
All right.
Later, guys.
See you guys.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody that joined tonight for the chat. Thanks again for this was fun. So with that, we will have some good new episodes coming out here in the next few weeks. The next Bourbon Roundtable will be in about 3 podcasts from now. So that's about once a month, but about every 3 weeks. So with that, we'll see y'all later. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.